Good morning! Now, I'm here to present you our book of the month. So, March's book of the month, everyone, is called A Year of Educational Quiet Bins by Sarah Noftle. Now, before I present you the book and what are quiet bins, I would like to talk to you about the author. So, Sarah, I will call her Sarah by her little name. Sarah was a teacher and a mother of three, and her greatest desire was to stay at home with her children. The occasion presented itself, and she got to stay at home. She wanted to be there for the first steps, for every special moment that goes through the day, for the laughter, for the finger painting, all day long. But then, as time went by, all day long became all day long. And it was chaos. There was no specific routine, there were screeches, there were bites, and there was just those days where she was overwhelmed by life itself. You can't even talk about those days as a parent. It's unimaginable. So she picked herself up and she also picked a couple of books in the meantime. And she found this very interesting monsieur who is called Waldorf. And Waldorf was an Austrian who in the 19th century started a school for the children of parents working in this factory somewhere in Austria. I do not remember where. And those children coming from different socioeconomic backgrounds were all taught together without without specific differentiation. They were all taught the same. And his philosophy was that we need to develop free but morally responsible individuals equipped with a high degree of social competency and creative abilities. Now, there was very little factual knowledge, no homework, and no test scores. They were almost inexistent. It was really based on storytelling and mostly experimentation. That was the main method of instruction. So, experimentation, let's hold on to that word, because Sarah, if we go back to the author, reading this, she dug into that aspect of the philosophy, and she came out with two main factors. First of all, and as preschool teachers, we are faced with that same realization that children need ample free time. Lots of time for uninterrupted play, both inside and outside. So that was in her daily routine. She made sure that that was present, as should we. Second of all, and this is where it's very interesting that she made this observation, because I think without really noticing it or putting words on it, we also notice that, is that children rotate between expansions and contractions. So, what are expansions and contractions? Well, expansions are very easy to see. When children are running around, when they're in the playground, when they're skip roping, jumping, when they're doing all these physical, intense activities, that's the expansion mode. Or when they're in the big imagination and big play with other siblings, that's the expansion. But you can't, as she saw, she had decided at one point to go expansion, one activity after the other, go to the zoo, come back, and then it was just at the end of the day, it was meltdowns, breakdowns, the kids, it was just too much, because they needed that relaxed time, that contraction time. When you breathe out, you're not necessarily sleeping. Sometimes kids don't need a nap. They need to contract. So, what the contraction is, but it's hard to go from running around in the playground to do a fine motor activity. So, our friend Sarah invented, or I couldn't say she invented, I think there's a lot of literature about different kinds of bins of the sort, but her quiet bins is very nicely done, because she, as I said, she was a teacher, so everything in the book has an educational value to it. It's not just thrown there. There's a reason, and she explains it. So it's very nicely done. There are pictures and very simple activities. So for example, I'll show you one of her quiet bins. She uses this between her expansion and contraction activities, because a contraction one could be a puzzle, it could be tracing or lacing, stuff like that. Her quiet bin, one of them, for example, this book is divided in 4 seasons. So this is winter, as we're in winter. 2 really interesting bins that I wanted to share with you today. This one is her little boy, and it's called the Cotton Ball Snowman. Very, very simple. It takes 10 minutes to do if you have it on hand. you go buy it. It's not very expensive at the dollar store or whatever. All your materials, cotton balls, clear or white plastic cups. What she did is she drew snowmen with different faces, some frowning, some mad, so you could talk about emotions at that point. She put cotton balls in the bin, and then the child just played with those and made snowmen inside. Sometimes it's just because she says she lives somewhere where it's very cold, she can't always go outside. That's very much like us. So one of the activities was the cotton ball snowman. Another one, this one is interesting for us Gaspésians and Madrinos, the snowplow town. Now you can change your bins around, it's not fixed, but the materials here is white pom-poms and cotton balls, little snowplows and dump trucks. She also said you can add little characters in, like Lego Man or Duplo Man, and women, yes, men and women, animals, and then the kids, they can start digging around with the plows, and then the little characters, they want to go inside their house if you put a little house there, but they have to, so that's having difficulty going in our houses because we have so much snow, it made me laugh, huh? But this is another idea of the quiet bins, and all through the book you have these wonderful illustrations and very simple, very effective quiet bins. I think we could use these. I know, like, I'm very excited of trying it in different classes. Sometimes it could be when a child just needs to reboot, when they go in the quiet corner or in the relaxing corner, that we used to call le retrait, but it's better not to cut our, sending a child in the corner is cutting the relationship we have with them, and then it's hard to bring them back, so it's better to accompany them and then give them a quiet bin that they can reflect on, and they can just reboot and be by themselves, and that would be a really good way, not just in the corner doing nothing. If you give them something to reset, it can be centers. A lot of these ideas are really, really good for center time. It doesn't have to be necessarily after their expansion mode. So I think there's tons of really great ways to add quiet bins to our daily routines. So I hope you will have a chance to get your hands on this, and it wasn't expensive. I think it was $20. Maybe the shipping was a bit more, but I wanted it fast, so I paid more. So I hope you enjoyed the Quiet Bins video, and I will be in touch with you soon. Bye.